Let's talk some X's and O's. Before we talk Super Bowl stuff, I want to talk to you about your Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you guys had high expectations. You didn't quite meet them. What, in your opinion, was the reason you guys didn't hit that mark?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a lot of things go into a season and the good, the bad, the ugly, how it unfolds in the year. We put ourselves in a good situation about halfway through halfway through the season. I think we were 8-3 with everything kind of in front of us. And then, we had some injuries, which are never an excuse. Every team's going to deal with injuries, but we had some injuries kind of at the wrong time. And I felt like we, as a team, just didn't really handle the adversity well. When we struggled, it seemed like at the end of the year, we just kind of let it snowball a little bit. So that was something, looking back on, we did a really good job of that the year before. When we struggled, we were able to dig ourselves out of the hole, find ways to win games that were close. And it seemed like we just had a tough time doing that this year. So I think that's obviously something to look at and you want to improve on. I think for myself, everyone's got to look in the mirror. And I think for me, I was disappointed how I finished the season. I was dealing with some injuries, but still I feel like I didn't play my best when it mattered most. So I know that's something that I'm going to reflect on and just try to play better next year and put together a complete season. I thought we were rolling, like I said, about halfway through, and we weren't able to finish. And that's the name of the game. The NFL, it's about who's playing their best in December, January, February, not September, October, November. So that's really, I think, what you learn the longer you play is how do you just figure out how to play your best football at the end of the year. And I think that's something that we obviously got to improve on.
We were expecting big things from you and Calvin Ridley. We saw Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp eating breakfast. Are you going to have to get some Honey Nut Cheerios with Calvin Ridley? What's going on, man?
Yeah, me and Calvin are pretty close. We built a good relationship over the past year, so we've been talking. I talked to him a week and a half ago and touch base, and we'll get together soon. But yeah, I think we have a good relationship. I feel good about that. We took some big strides this year, and I know another year playing together, it's only going to get better. And you got to think about it too. He's been out for 2 years. This was his first year back, and I thought he did some really great things, and he got better every game as the season went on. Our chemistry grew. So many good things and things to build on, and just to know that we could be a lot better too is encouraging. And I'm hoping that we can get him back and we can just keep building on what we were able to start this year.
Trevor, I don't think there's anybody better to ask this question to because you faced both the 49ers and Chiefs this season. Which defense was more difficult, in your opinion, in facing those two Super Bowl teams?
That's a good question. I think that's a really good question. The 49ers, they have a lot of, seems like every level, like every position group, they have a stud, one of the better players in the league at that position, whether it's edge rusher, linebacker, DB. They kind of have their guys, their staples at every position, and they're so good. They run a pretty simple scheme. It's not always trying to trick you. They're just really good at what they do, really disciplined. The Chiefs, obviously, they have Chris Jones, among other guys, just to name the biggest issue up front for them. And he can take over a game, but their scheme is pretty complex. They bring a lot of different pressures. It's hard to tell a lot of times where they're bringing the pressure from. They do a great job disguising coverages, and they're really physical on the outside and with the receivers. They press. They bring pressure and press man, and it's hard to find quick outlets against them. So they do some really great things with their scheme and their players. So it's hard to say. They're really different, though. Really different defenses, but both great defenses.
You guys at quarterback get a lot of hate unnecessarily. Who do you believe is the most, who do you believe is the most unfairly hated quarterback in the league right now?
I think it changes as the season goes on, and every year, it seems like it's a new guy. And I think, I don't know, that's a tough question. I don't know the answer to it, but I do think now it's kind of Patrick probably because he's had so much success. And he's obviously the guy to beat. He's been the best quarterback in the league. He's proven it. He's a winner. So I think that among all the other things with Kansas City being so good now for so long and all the Taylor Swift stuff and all the attention, I think people are kind of looking for someone to hate on, and Patrick probably catches some of that. So just from what I've seen, probably that, and probably undeservedly, I think Patrick's a good guy and obviously a great player. But that's the main example I can think of. I'm sure there's others, but that's kind of the one that I've seen more recently.
T-Law, right now, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are the unquestioned GOATs at their position, but they've been talking about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, sort of nipping at the heels of the throne. 10 years from now, who do you believe is going to have that spot? Brady and Belichick or Mahomes and Reid?
I couldn't tell you. If I knew that, I don't know. That would be, I don't know if anybody knows the answer to that. They got a lot of ground to make up, I think, just because Brady and Belichick were so consistent for so long. It's going to be hard to top that. But the run that they're on right now has been impressive. So they obviously are in position to do it, but they're going to have to do it for a few more years. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully that's not the case, because that's where I want to be. We're in the AFC, and we got to go through the Chiefs and Patrick and Andy and all those guys to do it. So that's our plan.
There's been a lot of talk about game managers and game changers. Cam Newton brought that up. What's your definition of a game manager versus a game changer?
I think different systems and different schemes ask you to do different things, and depending also the personnel that you have and the defense that you have. I think there's so many factors that go into how you play as an offense, what your game plan is going into that week even. So it's a hard question to answer. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. You see all the arguments going back and forth about quarterbacks and kind of what category they fall in. I think the main goal, that the reason we play this game is to win. So I think that, people talk about Brock and what's going on over there in San Fran. I mean, he's playing great and they're winning, and he's won most of the games he's played since he's been in the NFL. So I think to try to take anything away from him is wrong. I think that system he's executed at a really high level in what they're asking him to do. And I don't know what else you could want from the guy. He's running the system that's in place that he got drafted to, and he's playing really well and got in the Super Bowl. So I think that is a tough argument. And then obviously you have guys that use their legs more, that run. You think about like Lamar and Jalen Hurts, and even Patrick scrambles a lot. And I'm trying to think of some other guys that move and play outside of the pocket. And those are their own kind of unique guys. But I would say that's a more complex question than people are trying to make it seem.
Trevor, you face both of these teams, the Chiefs and the 49ers. I got to hold your feet to the fire. Super Bowl prediction. Who's going to win?
I think it's going to be the 49ers.
Wow. Why you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like obviously this matchup happened, a few years ago. I don't know. I feel like the 49ers are just playing so well right now. So are the Chiefs. They both had some close playoff games too. I think it's kind of honestly a toss-up. Different styles going head-to-head, so it's hard to say. But I think the 49ers offense is going to get rolling.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to see more conversations with athletes and stars, check out these videos right here, and be sure to subscribe for more from USA Today Sports.